Welcome to this mini masterclass. My name is Rebecca Mickey and I am a children's sleep consultant and author. And in this mini masterclass, we're looking at your return to work and how that is going to impact sleep and how we can make this as easy as possible for your family. When you return to work, there is a really big change, obviously, for you and for your child. And sleep will often get wonky when this happens. And a lot of families tell me that sleep can get really, really challenging. That's really normal. We can totally expect this to happen. And I know this is kind of the worst time that we want sleep to be getting wonky. You're returning to work. You need to be up at certain times of the day. Napping is not necessarily possible, and you need to be alert and awake all throughout the day. And this is not the time that we want more challenging nights. But this happens because we have a big change. And whenever we go through big change with your child's life, we get a sleep regression. Two types of sleep regressions. One, when a big change is happening, going back to work, starting daycare, visitors, moving house. And then when we get developmental leaps as well. So when your child is learning new skills, this is another reason for a sleep regression. So when you're returning back to work, then this is why we get a sleep regression. Expect it. It's completely normal. And it's just a huge change. Your child is used to spending all this time with you during the day, and now they are not able to do that. They may have started with a nanny. They may have started daycare. Things are really, really different. And so that means that sleep is going to get wonky. You want to think of the amount of times right now before you return to work that you're touching your child, and then how much that's going to happen when you're back at work. It's going to be a reduction down. So let's see if we can get some really good quality touch time during the day so that your child is not seeking so much of that out at nighttime. Oftentimes we'll see your child wake during the night just to hang out with you because they've not been able to do it during the day. So make sure you're getting some really good quality time with your child during the day. That may mean that you need to be getting up a little bit earlier to have some time with your child. It may mean that their bedtime is going to be a little bit later, but then you're getting that really good quality time. You're filling up your child's touch tank during the day so that they shouldn't seek so much of that out at nighttime. Even if you start your day a little bit earlier, go to bed a little bit later, you may have better quality nighttime sleep than if you were sleeping in later, going to bed earlier, and you don't get as much good quality time with your child throughout the day. Your night can be really, really different. And this will all adjust as your child gets used to this. It's just initially that this can be a real challenge. So how can we make this transition as easy as possible? Well, one of the ways is to be getting that really good quality time with your child. Definitely. But let's see if we can have as minimal impact with that initial return to work. So 2 weeks before you are planning on returning to work, let's start adjusting your child's sleep schedule. So you'll know what time it is that you need to be up in the morning, and just think it's going to be so much harder than it used to be getting out of the door in the morning. You're going to have to feed your child, you're going to have to get them ready, you may have to pump. There's just a lot that's going to be happening. So have a real good think about what time it is you're going to need to be up, and let's start to adjust to that schedule. The bigger the difference, the longer it's going to take you to get there. So normally 2 weeks is enough because we don't have a huge big difference in sleep schedules. If you need to be up maybe an hour earlier, working towards adjusting to that is going to be helpful. Another thing that's worth doing is having some practice mornings. So if you need to be up and out of the house by a certain time and you think that you're going to be able to get up at this time to be able to do that, give it a go before you need to be back at work. This will really, really help you see if you need more time, if actually you can have a little bit of less time, and just get practicing before you then do return to work. So You've already got your mornings sorted. You know what those are like. And this will be helpful for your child as well, that they know what their mornings are like. There will be some change, but that part remains consistent. And then you can do the same, thinking about your end of the day. What time is it that you're going to be getting home? And then what are you going to need to do once you've got home? Are you going to need to do some chores? Are you going to need to get dinner ready? Are you going to need to bath your child? And all of these things that you need to do, think about what that is now going to look like. Remembering you need to be getting in that really good quality time as well with your child. So think about what your night time will look like, your evening time from when you get home until bedtime. What's that going to look like? Have some practice just to see. You may feel that you need to have some very different dinners. You may feel that your timing of dinner may need to be a little bit different for now. You may want to get your child down to bed before you have dinner, or you're going to all sit down and have dinner together. Figure out what's going to work for your family. And so practice is really going to be able to help you get that figured out. So think about what your ideal is going to be, and then work towards that. It may not actually work out how you think it is. And then at least if you can iron all of that out before you go back to work, that will make that transition back to work just a little bit smoother than trying to figure out what your mornings are going to look like. You've returned to work, what your evenings are going to look like, and then your night times are more challenging anyway. That can feel really, really overwhelming. So spending a couple of weeks adjusting before your return to work can just make your nights feel a little easier, your evenings, your mornings, and your day feel a little bit easier once you've returned to work. As I mentioned, sleep will get wonky. Your child may struggle to fall asleep, and they may have way more wake-ups. Give your child the help that they need. Honestly, they will adjust to this. Give them the help that they need, and you will be able to get back on track. But this will take a couple of weeks for everything to adjust. Now, hopefully, if you are able to start things off beforehand, you'll get there a little bit quicker. But it's still going to take a little bit of time for you to adjust and for your child to adjust to what your new normal is. If you're back to work part-time, this may feel it takes a little bit longer. And oftentimes that's the case because we have different days, different places, and there's just some real inconsistency there with what's happening each day. If you are going to work part-time, and that means that you could be sleeping in later some days than others, that may actually work against you. Probably is going to be better for your family's sleep if you keep your timings consistent. So if you need to be up at a certain time, that those days that you're at work, continue to do that, even those days that you don't need to be at work. That will help keep your bedtimes on track, and that just helps ensure that you've got that consistency that can really help sleep remain as consistent and on track as possible.